Patrick Cannon arrived at his home shortly after 7 tonight. His arrival and subsequent resignation is the latest development in one of the most explosive and dramatic days in the history of Charlotte city government. Several audience members here tonight said they wanted to cast a ballot themselves in a special election, an idea that didn't seem to gain much traction among Charlotte City Council members.
The criminal actions of Patrick Cannon brought undeserved shame and embarrassment upon the city of Charlotte.
Not long after the apology,
I regret having hurt the city that I love.
And the guilty plea from former Charlotte Mayor Patrick Cannon.
I have acknowledged being guilty of accepting monies for constituent services.
The Queen City tried to move on beyond its most embarrassing political scandal.
That is certainly going to continue to be a cloud over the city of Charlotte.
That cloud hangs for Charlotte staffers and the city council, with a still ongoing federal investigation and prosecutors hungry to uncover any additional fraud.
We will continue to follow all leads, and we will follow those leads wherever they take us.
Business leaders downplayed Cannon's plea deal, hopeful it's just a blip and not the tip of a potential iceberg down the line.
It's an aberration. It's not the way business is done in Charlotte, and the business of Charlotte has moved on.
Political observers have a less rosier outlook after Cannon's plea, believing the aftershock could linger for months.
This is something that is certainly going to be lingering in people's minds, both in terms of the public as well as the administrative side of city government.
Monday, the Charlotte City Council said they've already moved on and kept their focus since Cannon's initial arrest in late March. In Charlotte, Broders, Time Warner Cable News. And the suspect's arrest followed a dramatic Saturday morning for police, drivers, and witnesses, and a pursuit that ended with multiple injuries and lingering questions.
Mayhem. A lot of debris everywhere.
Witnesses painted the dramatic picture.
I was just laying in the bed and I heard some say, "Scare!" Boom, boom, boom. First sound like gunshots.
It wasn't gunfire in Statesville Road Saturday, but the aftermath of a police pursuit that began in Cornelius and ended in this four-car wreck in Huntersville. The impact shattered mailboxes and rattled nerves.
I saw police officers fly by, and I didn't know what was happening, and then all of a sudden we heard a big, boom.
6 people were hospitalized, including 1 airlifted. This after authorities said a suspect, wanted on several warrants, fled from Cornelius police, leading them north on Interstate 77 into Iredell County and south into Huntersville.
Well, there's communication between agencies once they're pursuing, especially if they're going into another's jurisdiction. As I know, this one went into multiple jurisdictions.
Although such police suspect chases are uncommon in their towns, both Huntersville and Cornelius police have pursuit policies in place.
So we were aware that they were in pursuit of a car, and we always attempt to try to help if we can to try to make it as a safe encounter through our town limits as we can.
But this pursuit didn't end safely or without injury, and that had some wondering whether the end justified the means.
I think that they should have called it off and let people meet him up the street or something instead of chasing him down a 2-lane street like this.
And late this afternoon, a Cornelius police lieutenant told me this pursuit will be reviewed by the department as is standard procedure. 2 Cornelius police officers were treated on scene after this pursuit ended. Reporting live in Cornelius, Broders, Time Warner Cable News.
That determination to find the bad guy was just relentless. And I love him for that.
Wearing a symbol in honor of his fallen friend, McDowell County Sheriff Captain Ricky Crisp's heart was heavy Thursday.
He made my job a lot easier.
The captain trained the then young McDowell County Sheriff's deputy in the late 1990s, time in which he saw tremendous promise and potential in Jason Crisp.
I never seen such a young man with such a fine attitude and just willingness to learn the job and want to become the best he could be.
Jason Crisp joined the U.S. Forest Service in 2004, but his former colleagues admired and relied on his new duties, from traffic checks to defusing volatile scenes.
Any situation we had, Jason he was right there, was willing to help.
The sheriff's captain took part in a special processional Thursday afternoon where nearly 100 law enforcement vehicles across the state paid their respects to the U.S. Forest Service officer killed Wednesday in the line of duty along with his canine dog.
That's what he deserved. Just being, Jason Crisp and the work and his attitude and his dedication to the job.
Governor McCrory, also teary-eyed, met with Crisp's family, his wife, and 2 sons.
We've lost a hero in this state.
The governor praised the bravery of all law enforcement and Officer Crisp for bringing suspected murderer Troy Wisnett to justice after a dramatic, hours-long manhunt in Morganton.
I think Officer Crisp made the ultimate sacrifice, and he saved lives of civilians.
For area law enforcement, while hearts remain heavy, the work goes on in Jason's memory.
We're warriors. We're going to carry on because I know that's what he'd want us to do.
Funeral arrangements are still pending for fallen U.S. Force Officer Jason Crisp. Officials with that agency say he's the first officer to die in the line of duty in 4 years. Reporting in Marion and McDowell County, Brad Broders, Time Warner Cable News.